me. Hit that thumbs up for me, everyone. We're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to open up the phone lines. And I want to have this discussion. I want to have this discussion because of what we're seeing happening in the world today. Because of what's happening in our world today, a lot of people are getting upset. They're getting angry by what they're seeing in the world. And what is that? They're getting upset about what's happening in Israel. They're getting upset because President Trump is supporting Israel. And the thing is, President Trump has always supported Israel. President Trump has always supported Israel. It's been no secret about President Trump supporting Israel. It's been no secret. He's been saying it the entire time during the campaign. He was saying it when in 2016, he was saying it, his support for Israel. And now all of a sudden, all of these people that were Trump, 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 they're all saying, get away from Trump, get away from Trump. And it's interesting for me to see it play out this way. Let me give you kind of a little example. While people are tuning in, let me give this example. And for everyone watching this on the replay, God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share this video. My objective is not to fight with you. I'm not here to fight with you. And so let me put it like this to you. I've known these people, a group of people, for many years. I've known them for many years. But I never talked to them about my beliefs in Christ. Shame on me. But I never did, because it's like some people in the workplace, just people I know. And, I never talked to them about it. I think they knew that I was a Christian, but I wasn't like, oh, Christ this, Christ this, Christ this. The Bible says this, the Bible says this. Because no one likes a Bible thumper. No one likes, someone throwing your religion in their face. They don't like it. They don't like it. But I never treated them one way or another, even though that I knew that they were liberal. I've known that they were liberal for many, many years. I know that they went with the ways of this world, the evilness, the sickness of this world. I know that now look, I don't hang out with them, like participate in the stuff that they're doing, but I know them and I would be nice to them and I would get along. I would treat them the way that I would expect them to treat me. But as soon as they found out that I truly believe what the word says, and I believe that Jesus, born in Bethlehem, to the Virgin Mary, they are all upset with me now. Why? Because what the Bible says, what we've all been told, Jesus was born a Jewish person. He was born in the Jewish lifestyle, the Jewish customs. And now they're mad at me. They're mad at me because I believe what the word says. Now, I've known them all of these years, and they had different opinions about stuff, and they would be outspoken. They would voice their opinion, but I wouldn't say anything. I would just be quiet. For the most part, when I was younger, I was really quiet. When people would say stuff and do stuff to me, for the most part, you know what? I would just be quiet. And I'll never forget it. My mother, she would constantly get on me. She would say, you need to speak up for yourself. You need to say something. When someone does something to you, you need to speak up. She used to get on me about it because I was really quiet. I kept to myself. Sometimes people thought I was being stuck up even because I wouldn't jump into conversation. I was just really quiet. But now that I'm speaking out, and now that I feel that I have to say something, and I truly believe that, God took me, a person who was always quiet, scared to talk. And now I'm talking. And the people that used to tell me to say something want me to be silent now. Because I'm not saying the things of this world. People want you to comply with this world. Well, the world says something else about Jesus, so that's what you need to go with. I'm not going to do that. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset with me. And that's fine. And that's fine. I'm not going to join into the world just to get you to like Will Johnson. I can't do it. I fear God too much. I've had people say, well, I'm gonna unfollow you because you're not, and they're not saying it this way, but I'm gonna paraphrase it. I'm gonna unfollow you because you're not complying with the world. What the world tells us that Jesus is a certain way, and this is what we need to believe. Jesus is openly supporting all of these sinful acts, and you don't agree with it. The Bible doesn't agree with it. And they're getting mad at me because I'm believing what the word says. And I'm hearing more and more people constantly say that Jesus wasn't Jew. He wasn't Jewish. He wasn't this. He was something else other than being born to a Jewish mother in Bethlehem, Israel. And to be honest with you, just to be blunt with you, I don't care where he was born. I don't care how he was born. I'm thankful that the word was made flesh because he loved us. Shouldn't that be important? Why is that not the important thing? And there's a reason why God chose for him to come down, the word made flesh, and to be a Jewish person. There's a reason why. Look what's happening in our world today. And so many people, they want to say that Jesus was not born Jew because of their hatred for the Jewish people. What? And you know what's really amazing about all of this? See, look, I know a lot of people they don't like what I'm saying. Oh, how dare you, Will Johnson? How dare you? How dare you? There's some preachers and pastors will deviate away from God's word because they're afraid of people getting up out of the church and walking out. So they'll walk on eggshells. They won't actually, talk about this part in the Bible and that part in the Bible. So they'll leave that part out just to get people to stay there because for some reason, and I believe what the word says in the last days that the entire world will come down on Israel. And we're seeing it happen right now. People that supported President Trump. And President Trump hasn't been shy about it. He hasn't been really silent about it at all. About his support in Israel and his acknowledgement of Jesus Christ. But now all of a sudden, all of these people, Trump, they're all like, oh, no more Trump, no more Trump. Why? Because he's an ally. He wants to be an ally with Israel. Israel has always been an ally of the United States of America. Has always been. That has not changed. Listen to this. Listen to President Trump. This was during time of Easter. And listen closely. So I know a lot of people don't like this. And you don't like the fact that I'm even talking about this. I put comments on social media earlier, and a lot of people got upset with me because of what I said. I'm going to read that comment to you, but listen to what Trump said here at Easter.
We're honoring Jesus Christ, and we're going to honor Jesus Christ very powerfully throughout our lives, all throughout our lives, not just now, all throughout our lives. We're bringing religion back in America. We're bringing a lot of things back, but religion is coming back to America. That's why you see the kind of numbers that you're seeing, the spirit and the kind of numbers that you're seeing.
See, so President Trump was saying this, and you can hear people in the crowd, yes, this is wonderful. So the comment that I put on social media this morning, Jesus was born to a Jewish mother, Mary, and raised within a Jewish family and community. And I put a pair of eyeballs up under it because people looking at this and they get everything out of it other than what I just said. Most people did get out of it what it just said. That's all it says. But a lot of people have a different opinion about it. You can take it off the video off the screen there. So, of course, if you go out there and you do a little search, right? Depending on Google, what AI tool that you use, they'll change stuff around because there's a movement right now. And I've said this for many years, that there's a movement for them to try to change what it is to be a Christian. And now they're trying to change what Christ was. Did you know, for another example, that the radical left is trying to change that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican? He was the first American Republican president. And the radical left is trying to say that he was a Democrat. And the only reason why they're saying that because he freed the slaves. They want to take credit for it. That's the only reason why. So it's the exact same thing here. They're trying to change what Jesus is all about. Jesus was born into a Jewish family, raised according to the Jewish customs, and lived his entire life in a Jewish culture in the first century Israel. I mean, these are facts, but they want to change it up. Jesus was born to Jewish parents, Mary and Joseph, and is described in the Gospels as a descendant of King David, a significant figure in Jewish traditions. His religious practice, he was accustomed to the eighth day. Oh, I'm sorry. He was circumcised on the 8th day when he was born. And apparently, and you know, I was just like, man, see, this is stuff that I'm learning. I know I've probably had to read it at one point, but maybe I just didn't remember. That's in Luke 2:21. I encourage everyone to go look it up. That's really interesting, right? He followed the Jewish law, the Torah. He celebrated Jewish festivals like Passover, Luke 22:7-8, and taught in the synagogues. You know, they even called him rabbi. They called Jesus rabbi. Who else is called a rabbi? Look, the phone line is open if you want to give me a call. If you want to give me a call and talk about it. And I mean, look, if you disagree with me, that's fine too. I don't have any problems with people disagreeing with me. But I go based on what the word says. And I know this is a hot topic right now because of what's happening over in the Middle East. And it's just intensifying. And I'm like, wow, and I've known people that call themselves believers in Christ they say, well, he's not Jewish. Like they want to distance everything that they believe from Jewish custom. But yet you know who else did that? You know who else did that? The Klan. The Klan said that they believed in Jesus Christ, and they even said that Jesus Christ was not Jewish because of their hatred for Jewish people. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I thought it was really interesting when I learned that as a kid, that the Klan, they were all Jesus Christ. They love Jesus Christ. But then when they rejected the idea that he was born in Bethlehem and his parents were Jews. I don't understand it. Talking about the level of hatred, that disregard the truth, just have this hatred. It's almost like TDS. You know, the radical left, they have this TDS issue. So they reject the truth because of TDS. Same thing here. Same thing here. Let me share another one with you while you're contemplating on giving me a call or not. The phone line is open. I don't bite hard. Look, my objective is not to fight with you. But I don't know. It's just like I'm moved to talk about this because in the last days, it says that many will turn away from God. Many will turn away from God. And the world will come down on Israel. And part of the reason why I supported President Trump is because of this.
We're bringing back religion in our country, and we're bringing it back quickly and strongly. Because for America to be a great nation, we must always be one nation under God, a phrase that they would like to get rid of, the radical left. But Ben, I don't think we're going to let them get rid of that, right? We're not letting them get rid of that.
They would love to get rid of it. The radical left would love to get rid of it. They would be happy to get rid of it. You know, it's the radical left that wanted to that removed the 10 Commandments from the courthouse. It was the radical left that removed God prayer from schools. It's the radical left. And now there's a lot of people consider themselves on the right, and they're all rejecting. They're all joining side with the radical left. And it's like, wow. You know, when I was younger, another thing that stood out to me is how it says in the last days that people will reject Christ, and in the last days that people will turn on one another, brother against brother, sister against sister. And I was like, what does that even look like, right? I mean, of course you had, disputes in the past where people didn't get along. People had issues with one another. Of course, that's always been here. But the Bible is talking about it at a different level. And I'm seeing it intensify. It's growing like never before. Everything in our world right now is like flipped upside down. There's a group of people that believe, and there's a group of people that want you to believe something else. Now, and look, I'm not here to try to convince you to believe one way or another, but I am going to stick with the word. And you know, it also talks about in the word that people will deny Christ. People will be silent about talking about Christ. I'm not going to be silent because I fear God too much. And I always had this thing in my mind that if I when I stand before God and he looks at me and I'm standing there before him looking at him, I always had this fear of, did you even try? Or why didn't you even try? And I can say, I at least tried. I can say, I at least tried. I failed in many things. But I can say, Lord, I at least tried. I at least tried. Here's another one, President Trump. Acknowledging Jesus is Lord. Jesus is King. Above all things.
Somebody said to me the other day, you're the most famous person in the world by far. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. They said, yes, you are. I said, no. They said, who's more famous? I said, Jesus Christ.
I love his smile when he says that.
Yeah. 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 Right there. Yeah, put it back up there. And did you hear the crowd? They were all cheering it on. President Trump is saying that Jesus Christ is above him. That's what he's saying. See, leaders, world leaders, they're not supposed to say stuff like that. They don't expect world leaders to say stuff like that. President Trump has changed everything in politics, the way people look at the world. He really has. And then he acknowledges that Jesus Christ is above him. They don't like that. They don't like it. So there's this guy. His name is Young Han Kim. Young Han Kim. And they say, according to a lot of reports, that he has the highest IQ recorded. And he announced that he believes Jesus Christ is God. And of course, this is going all around social media right now. And I just felt it was important to talk about it during this time. And I know a lot of people are going to reject me now because I am believing and I'm acknowledging and I'm telling everyone my beliefs in Jesus Christ. But I can't be afraid of what the world says about me. This is the time that we're in, that the world will reject you because you believe in Christ. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not going to deny Christ. I'm not going to. And this man here, Mr. Kim, he's acknowledging Christ. And like I said, he has been reported that he has the highest IQ. He currently holds the highest IQ recorded.
Yeah. Did you see the video of him?
This one?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I got you.
Voila.
I got you. So let me share what he has to say about all of this. And look, the phone line is open. I don't bite too hard. I do have some other stuff that we will talk about. I just felt that I needed to address this. Okay, I just felt I need to address this. And by all means, I'm not mad at you if you don't agree with me. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, I'd like to hear people's opinion of what's happening in Israel and Iran.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad if you disagree with me. It's perfectly fine. This is who I am. You know this, right? Listen.
In this video, I would like to share my idea, my thoughts about afterlife. I think our consciousness continues beyond death, definitely. Our consciousness is not just brain activity, but it is something deeper. I think you believe this. Science says that when the brain stops, then our consciousness disappears. You believe this now, but quantum physics says that information never disappears. Never. It only changes in forms. If our consciousness is quantum information, it may continue after the body is gone. For example, like computer data stored in the cloud, our consciousness may not be trapped in the brain. Quantum entanglement suggests that our consciousness is part of a bigger system beyond the physical world. Some scientists and philosophers believe that our world may be a simulation created by a higher dimension of being, which I believe. If this is true, then the death is not the end, but a shift to another reality. Just like a video game character disappears, but the player still exists. Our consciousness may continue in a higher dimension like this. Many people with near-death experience says they saw their bodies from above or felt warm light and deep peace. They say they felt warm light and peace. These experiences seem like moving from one system to another, I think. So, if reality is part of something bigger, then death is not the end, but it is a transition, shift to another reality. Science is growing now, and we are learning more about consciousness and reality. Our death is not destruction, but change and shift. Humanity will keep searching for the truth about what comes after life. Thank you.
And it's been reported that has the highest IQ currently. And you know what, Shannon? You were asking me to play the video of him. You know one thing, when I went out there and I just saw that video and then I looked up other stuff about him, they were loving him, that, the IQ, the highest IQ, they were all loving him. And then when he acknowledged that there's a higher power, that Jesus Christ, that our consciousness, the hate flipped on him. They started hating on him like no tomorrow.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, if you go out there and look at some of the stuff that they're saying about him now, they're hating on him. Why? It's okay to believe what you want to believe. Look, people believe that a man can transition to something else. If you want to believe it, then you believe it. Don't get mad at me because I don't. Right? There's a difference here. There's a difference. All right, we got a phone call. All right.
Yeah, we have Carla from Illinois.
Hey, Carla, thank you so much for the call.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
It's Friday. Blessed that you called us. What you think about all of this?
Well, I've kind of missed topic because I was kind of busy there for a few minutes. So if you can kind of give me like a quick refresher what we're talking about, it'd be great.
You're calling me just be calling me. I love it. I love it. So the main thing is that I was bringing up is that how people are rejecting Christ and they're so concerned that he was born to Mary, which Mary was Jewish. And they're trying to say that Jesus Christ was not born in a Jewish custom, born Jewish.
Or you can tell us your feelings on the Israel-Iran potential war.
Why wouldn't he be Jewish if, you know, he was born in Jerusalem, right?
He was born in Bethlehem, Israel, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that make people somewhat of the Jewish faith?
Yes, 100%.
Practiced the Jewish faith. He practiced the Jewish culture. He was circumcised. I mean, he was. So why are people rejecting Jesus as he lived in Israel? That's a good question.
I mean, yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense that people would say that he wasn't Jewish. I mean,
I'm so with you. I think the reason why they're doing it is because they have this deep hatred for the Jewish people themselves, and they don't want to associate Jesus Christ with the Jewish customs or Jewish people because of their hatred for Jewish people.
I think that it's the devil working.
It really is.
You know, the devil wants people to hate the Jews. He hates the Jews.
Exactly.
Because he knows that that's what Jesus was. So he has a hate for them. I don't care if they're Antichrist. I don't care what they are. He's saying, listen, in the Old Testament, they were God's chosen people. Therefore, he has a deep ingrained hate for them. And so he's pitting everyone against them. Even in the Revelations, it says they will all rise up against her, meaning Israel. And so I think that when people are trying to say, oh, Jesus is this, Jesus is that, you know, Will, and I don't know how you feel about everybody using the Zionist word everywhere now, too. I think that is a way to trigger people to hate the Jews. I think the devil is behind it. I think he wants you to, because if I say I'm America first, you would say, oh, that's so wonderful. But because people are proud of being, you know, who they are, people don't like it.
But if you got certain people on the left, they'd hate you for that because you're America first.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I'm America first. I was born in America. I have German. I mean, heck, I've got German descent. I'm almost full German. I've got Scott-Irish in me too. But what does that make me? I'm still an American because I was born here.
Yep, same here.
You know,
I was born here.
You can go back to your heritage. I mean, if you want to go back and look at your heritage and where you were born at, I mean, I was born here in the United States. I'm an American. But my heritage goes back to, you know, years and years and years of German, Scott, Irish. I mean, and trust me, I've got the temper of all three of them.
and you know what? I just kind of looked up the word Zionist because, you know, a lot of definitions change. When people use Zionist, I'm not sure exactly if they know what it means, but literally a Zionist means that you support the concept that Israel is the land that Jesus came from.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
And you have a national, as a Jew, you have a love for your country, just like America first. Yeah. So when people say that, I'm like, why are you upset that they're that way?
They call them, they want to say Zionist as if it's a bad term, the same way if you say nationalist. I'm a nationalist because I put my country first. Yeah. I'm a Christian nationalist because I put Christ first.
Listen, Jesus was proud that he was a Jew. He was proud of who he was. Yeah. And that he was born to Mary and Joseph. He was proud of that. Now, of course, his main thing was, I come from God, but he was proud of where he grew up at. Do you not think that God chose the Jews specifically for Jesus to be born
There's a
into
reason
that?
Why. There's a reason why he did, but they want to change it up. So, well, hey,
well,
Carla,
I look at it
go ahead.
This way. We're all related. We're all related one way or another.
We all come from the same planet.
We all come from Adam and Eve.
We all come from the same, you know, concept.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Adam and Eve were the first two people.
Yeah.
So if they're the first two people, and they had children, and they had children, and they had children, and it goes down the line, we're all related.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and we're all God's creation.
And
Period.
and I always think that if it wasn't for Adam and Eve, if they wouldn't ate that apple, none of us would be here.
Or maybe, just maybe,
naked.
maybe.
Or we'd all be running around naked.
Yeah.
I think God still wanted them to populate the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that was their mission. It just this time they had to do it clothed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. I wish you would have had this on yesterday's show where we could call in, because I had a lot to say about yesterday's show.
You know what? I need to open up the phone lines a lot do I would do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to say something about yesterday's show?
What about yesterday's show that you want to say really quick?
I watched that hearing, and I sat there, and not one Democrat was up. Well, there was two Democrats, Dick Durbin and that Welsh, Peter
you're
Welsh.
talking about the auto pen.
Yeah, the auto pen bill. And it was like, I watched that whole thing, and I was just so upset. I mean, well, that and the governors were there.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I'm from Illinois, so I have to deal with Pritzker. And I mean, all I can say is he's a fat a-hole, and he doesn't do his job, and he's getting ready to raise taxes on us again.
Yep, that's what they do, because they need more money for the corrupt agenda that they're doing. So
I think he needs the money to go to Krispy Kreme, really.
Probably so. Probably so.
Well,
hey, Carla, thank you so much for the call. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend.
Oh, you're welcome, and I'm happy that I called, because I've missed you for the past couple of weeks because I've been busy working in my garden, and today I was lucky because I finished the coleslaw and everything for my reunion tomorrow, and I'm pretty much done for now.
How fun!
Well, cool.
Homemade coleslaw out of your garden. That's pretty special.
I made my fresh cabbage. I used my cabbage that I grew, and the only thing I had to buy onions because my onions ain't ready yet. But I got my broccoli from my veggie dip, my bell peppers, and yeah, I've been kind of busy doing my growing. And
sounds good. You're making me hungry.
Good for you.
You're making me hungry.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to catch you guys before the show shut off.
Well, that's cool. Well, thank you so much. God bless.
Carla.
All right.
Take care.
You guys have a great weekend.
You too.
Take
and
care.
love you both. Love you both.
Love
okay?
You. Love you.
Nobody says that enough anymore.
Absolutely. You're right.
Love you both.
Love you. Have a great day.
All right. Take care.
You too.
All right,
bye.
Will. We have I'm sorry, I cut off. I didn't mean to do that. We have another caller. The last four numbers are 2812.
Hello, caller. What is your name and where you calling from?
This is Filter Dog calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Man, Filter Dog, it's good to talk to you. You know what? You are a blessing. Thank you so much for your support.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Try and do what I can where I can.
So what do you got?
Okay, so first off on your topic, it's so silly. I mean, it's in the history books.
Right.
Look it up. You know, I mean,
the Bible is a good one.
Well, of course, but if they dismiss the Bible as being nothing more than a book of fairy tales, then you have history books.
That's true.
Josephus just happens to be one. So, you know, you were talking about Luke 2:21, where Jesus goes to the temple. Well, the next chapter over, he's got his whole genealogy listed.
Yep.
You know, so it's just crazy. Anyway, I'm upset about something in particular.
Okay.
Which is why I'm calling you today. So there's a particular phrase going around on the mainstream media that we could take out Fordal with just one pass of an airplane. And that's Fordal's some site in Iran.
Okay.
And I heard that, and I'm like, I mean, this sounds like the war drums that were beaten before we invaded Iraq. Same exact thing. Everybody, everywhere you look, they're waving their pom-poms and let's go to war, let's go to war. I don't understand it.
You know,
I-
you know what? It's like they want chaos on the planet. But one thing we have to, I think a lot of people won't even acknowledge it. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying a lot of people are saying that, Trump is siding with Israel, go to war, go to war. But President Trump hasn't gone to war yet. And they're
Yeah.
not even, it was like, why hasn't he gone to war? If everything that they're saying that Trump is just listening to Benjamin Netanyahu, he's just listening to Israel, then why haven't we gone to war if that's the case? Now,
well,
with
it's
that,
it's a very subtle message that says, it's so easy. Why don't you just do it already? And it just it throws out all the ramifications,
Yes.
all the ramifications of going to war.
Yeah. You're spot
All the
on.
dead people.
And I think that's the reason
All the
why.
dead people.
I think that's the reason why they're wondering, like, why hasn't he done it? Because it's so easy. Just do it. Just go ahead and drop a couple bombs. Let's get it over with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I've heard,
and so go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, we've heard Trump time and time again, even when he refers to the Ukraine war, he's like all he refers to the dead people, the people being killed. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop.
Yeah.
So I think that probably sometimes even to his, detriment, he doesn't want anybody to get hurt. That's almost like his first thing. He's like, I really don't want anybody to get hurt. So if we get involved in this, he wants as little casualties as possible. I think that's his strategy. It's like, if I have to, what can I do to not have so many casualties?
Yeah. So he hasn't gotten us involved anywhere else. And then all these other people are like saying, well, come on, this is easy, this is simple, we got this. And they don't understand his point of view. You remember when Iran shot down one of our drones?
Yep.
And the response from all the generals was,
Yep.
we need to take them out.
Yep.
We got this site, we want to go in and bomb it.
We've
Yep.
talked about that.
And President Trump said, well, how many people are going to die?
Yeah.
He said, well,
he said,
estimates
did
around
anybody die with
150.
the drone? He said, was there anybody in the drone? They're like, no. He's like, well, we didn't lose anybody.
Yeah, important point. Yeah, so he's like, he's not. It's so refreshing to see somebody actually seem to be wrestling with this, making thoughtful things. He's like, I don't want to kill people. Exactly.
You just hit the nail on the head.
This whole thing about regime change.
Yes, you just hit the nail on the head. It is refreshing to see someone not just jumping the gun. To actually say, let's look at this. Let's assess the situation. He did it last time, like you mentioned with the drone, because he was asking, was anybody in the drone? Like Shannon said, did anyone die when the drone went down? No, sir. No one died. But if we go in and we start blowing up locations, people will die. And President Trump said, no, okay, look, he gave them a warning. You have this one, you get this one. But if you shoot another one down, you're going to regret it. They didn't shoot any more down. Just like right now, President Trump, he's trying to give them every opportunity to stop. He's trying to give him every opportunity. But at the same time, we already know that Iran and some of these other nations, they're constantly saying death to America. They're constantly saying it. And they've already admitted as soon as they get a nuke, they're going to use it. So if they're going to use it, and the only reason why we believe them is because they've been supporting all of these proxy wars against Israel. And they've also supported killing American soldiers. And they've actually done so.
Yeah, I mean, they've been behind October 7th.
Yeah, they've actually done so.
Hamas,
so we know that
Hezbollah.
they actually want to do what they're saying they're going to do.
Let me ask you something, Filter Dog. So
Sure.
Trump right now keeps drawing the line. Like, he's like, there might be potential for peace. There might be potential for peace. At what point do you think that he says, okay, that's enough? Do you think he should wait till something bigger happens? Or
I think he has it in his mind, but it would be foolish to say what that line is.
Absolutely. And he said that. I mean, he said that about one of the news people. I was just asking you, like, for you.
Yeah, what do you think it
what
would
do
be?
you think that
okay, so I think that I'm probably way more cynical than you guys. I mean, they've been saying this about Iran for how long? At least
Absolutely.
30 years, right?
Yeah.
50, almost, I
Um,
guess 50
and
years ever since Jimmy Carter.
and they don't seem to have made much progress in those 30 years to advancing to their goal. So I
Rubio
think there's
says they
more
have.
going.
Rubio says they're at 40 or 60% right now. He says, and it wouldn't take that much longer for them to get 100%. That's what Rubio is saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just they were that close 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it just keeps coming back around. Well, and it's always the mantra. Well,
You know,
they're
I mean,
close.
I
let
know
me
what
say
you're
this,
saying,
Filthy Dog. Let me say this, because
Yeah.
I understand exactly 100% where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
almost like, well, let's just use this as an excuse to go in there and attack them, right? Which, because they've been saying that they're really close. They're really close for so many years. I
Well,
remember
for
a
so
kid.
many
They're
years,
so
though.
close. But let
Yeah.
me say this. Let's just set the nuclear thing to the side. I think we can all agree that they've been bullies. They constantly, and you had Obama funding them.
100%.
Yeah, right. I think
they have-
I think that's where the messaging comes across, where they messing up. Stop talking about nukes. Let's start talking about, hey, we've got to stop them from killing people, using the proxies, creating these proxies wars. Just address it that way.
Yeah, you know,
and I think everyone would say, okay, we can't deny that.
I was actually watching Newt Gingrich talk about this, and he said for years, Iran's been killing Americans, actually.
Yeah.
He said, and Clinton let him get away with it. Obama let him get away with it. They just say, oh, just arrest the people and we'll let you go. And for many years, sure, they've been saying they're going to get nuclear weapons. And for so many years, we've been on the defense, stopping them from doing it. But Biden opened up the door for them.
Obama opened up the door.
Obama did too. He funded
Obama
them
opened
too.
the door.
But they
Biden just
actually
picked
gave
up where he
them
left
money.
off.
Right. And China's also giving
Newt's
them money.
Newt's a neocon.
I agree.
And that's what I have a problem with, is the people that would claim to be conservatives, and they're all for war. Who's the guy that really infuriates me? Flimsy Graham. Just infuriates me.
He wants to go to war everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
He's not going to go put his shiny little backside on the front lines there. And he doesn't mind killing thousands of people.
No, he doesn't.
It's not him.
He's like Liz Cheney. They love it.
Oh my gosh. Warhawk Tua.
Warhawk Tua.
You know, and Will and I were talking about this.
Oh my goodness, I had heard that one, Warhawk Tua.
That's funny. Will and I were talking about this, actually I think it was yesterday. We were saying, there is a prediction. Revelation says that there's going to be a great war where 1/3 of the population on Earth is going to be wiped away. It's going to
come out from the Euphrates River, according to the Bible. But it's that region, right?
Yeah,
it's
that region
of the world.
Turkey's right there, which Turkey says they're siding with Iran right now. So my question is what is going to get us to that level? Hopefully it's not in this situation, but I'm always aware that is coming. And it's biblical. God said it's going to happen, so nothing that man does can stop it. So, but I'm always wondering what is going to take to get to that. I don't think it's necessarily the nukes in Iran. I think there's something bigger that would have to brew, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to find
out. I think it's smoking out a lot of the sleepers. To be quite honest, I mean, regime change has not worked for us anywhere.
Yeah,
right.
True.
I don't know why we think it would if we make the decision instead of the Iranian people making the decision.
Well, President,
there's a lot of smart people in Iran.
Yeah, President Trump, he said that I don't want to change the regime there. President Trump said he doesn't want. He said it multiple times that the people should be able to decide.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. And the only problem is that ever since Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter, his dealing with Iran, and I just learned some of this out, that's the reason why they have this regime, this current regime there now, that's been completely like a terrorist organization. And the people should rise up. Because just imagine if we had the same regime here in America. They tried. And they're probably going to try again. But I think the people here in this country would rise up against it, because with the radical left, they want to disarm everybody so they can implement the same thing here. communism. They want it here, but there's too many Americans here that won't have it. So.
And I wonder what you can do with Iran, because they're dirty people. They have dirty tactics, just like I said. They use Hamas,
it's not everybody in Iran, because there are a lot of good people in Iran. Let's just be honest, right?
I'm talking about the people instigating the ones
that's controlling all of the chaos.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm talking about. And just like yesterday or the day before, they hit a hospital. They don't care about who they hit. Of course, Israel's a little bit more.
But Shane, and that's another part of the infuriating puzzle. Just about every news channel you look at, what do they show you? The picture of that hospital.
Yeah.
Well, we know people are getting hurt in Israel now. There's one reporter in Fox News that said Israel's taking hits like they've never taken before. And he said he's been there for 13 years and never seen it like it is now. So, and there are innocent people being killed. So I think that's on Trump's mind. How much more devastation does he want?
We've been sucked in enough by Israel, as far as I'm concerned. So,
I'll say this: Israel,
be another play to suck us in. So.
I say Israel should be able to do this on their own, and and because they're an ally, we'll just give them aid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm in complete agreement with, I think, most people that we shouldn't, there's no American soldiers. We don't need to put any boots on the ground. We shouldn't be bombing anything. Israel should have handled this bully. I had a bully when I was a kid. I handled the bully. I didn't get someone else to handle the bully for me. Right. But I think they should handle this bully.
That's my question. How do you handle them with their dirty tactics for years and years? I mean, literally, Israel's sick of it. They're sick of it.
Yeah. Well, hey, Filter Dog, man, thank you so much for the call.
Thank you. You guys, and been enjoying having you on pill.net. It's great to catch you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Yeah. We love that you called in.
Yeah, awesome. Now I got a voice with the name.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Call in again. We love your perspective and input.
Yep, absolutely. God bless.
God bless you.
Okay, so I'm going to share some other stuff. Man, this hour's going by pretty fast. The radical left, they're all saying death to America. Let me show you this image this cartoonist put out there. Of course, you see the first one, Iran, which is no secret. They've been saying this all along, death to America. And then you got Trans-Tifa. They're saying the same thing, death to America. And then, of course, you got the illegals now, all the rioting that's happening in California. They're saying the same thing, death to America. And then the last one, which is right here, going from the other side this way, you got the Democrats here in America. Even the Democrats here in America say death to America. In that picture, he should have added a burning American flag up under instead of a cloud down there, because the Democrats, they're all about burning the American flag. They're all about it. And to prove my point about this, listen to what they were saying here on MSDNC about Iran. And look, when you have the radical left siding with Iran, siding with these tyrants, I step back and I look at it. Listen to this.
And he didn't want to hear from them.
Well, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs says, I mean, your point that you made before, Katie, it speaks to this, which is that he's not explaining what the issues are for America. What are the issues for America? Why is it a foundational issue for Trump that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon? Why is this something that the U.S. should be involved in? Why are we allied with Israel?
He says because they chant death to America.
It's not because they say, not because they say death to America. It's because they've actually been saying it and they actually mean it. They have killed American soldiers already multiple times. They've constantly said it. Look, do we pretend that they're not saying it? If they were a peaceful nation and they weren't creating all these proxy wars constantly trying to kill people on the planet, then maybe so. There's a reason why they didn't want to have Ukraine to have any nukes. There's a reason why, because there's people there that are unstable. They're unstable.
They chant death to America. I went to Iran in 2014. I was sitting at a rally. These young guys were chanting death to America. I had a minder. I said, what are they saying? They're saying death to America. They finished the chant, and two young men came over and said, are you American? I said, yes. We want to welcome you to our country.
Do you believe him? Do any of y'all believe what he's just saying? Oh, death to America, death to America. Are you American? Yeah. Oh, welcome. Welcome. We love you. We love your movies. We love the food. Welcome. Death to America. Death to... Really? Is there anybody believe what he's saying? I mean, come on. For real. Is there anybody watching this that actually believe? Listen to him. Listen to him. After they chanted death to America, oh yeah, we love America.
And I was sitting at a rally. These young guys were chanting death to America. I had a minder. I said, what are they saying? They're saying death to America. They finished the chant, and two young men came over and said, are you American? I said, yes. We want to welcome you to our country. We love American culture and love American movies. They wanted to talk about all these things. Iran is the most Western nation in the whole Middle East. We have much more in common with them than a lot of countries that we do have alliances with.
Really? Really? So essentially what he's saying, that saying death to America is the Western world way. It's okay. You know, because liberals say it all day long. They demonstrate it. You know, President Trump during the campaign was mentioning that maybe we should make it against the law for them to burn the American flag because they're not burning it for free speech. You know, I used to hear about people burning the American flag. And the first time I heard about someone burning the American flag, I was living in Arkansas. And this guy, I can't remember his name. He was part of the whole, I think, Rainbow Coalition. Jesse Jackson showed up. And at the state capitol in Arkansas, they were having a flag burning session going on. And it was the American flag. And a lot of people got in an uproar. And I'm like, why is he burning the American flag? I didn't understand. I didn't pay attention to politics. I had no idea why they would do it. And then he came out with a statement saying, I have free speech. It's my free speech to burn it. I'm like, oh, free speech. But that's not the real reason why they're burning the American flag. They use it as an excuse to burn the American flag. They're burning the American flag because they're saying death to America. That's the reason why they're doing it. They want to destroy our way of life. They want to destroy capitalism. They want to destroy what marriage is. They want to destroy what it is to be a man and a woman. They want to destroy reality. They hate God. That's the part of the reason why they want to burn the American flag. They want to change history. They want to change everything. They really do. They want to change it all. And again, this guy said he went over to Iran and they're chanting death to America. But yet we're supposed to believe that two guys came up to him afterwards. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from America. Oh, we love America. Y'all believe him though, right? Y'all believe him? Y'all believe him? We love the movies. We love the food. I don't get it. And some people will watch that and they'll just take it and they'll run with it. Oh yeah, see, they love America after calling death for America. And at the same time, I'm in agreement with a lot of people that I don't see a need to try to bomb Iran. I really don't, as far as me personally, because they haven't done anything to me. But if I was Israel and I'm constantly getting hit via proxies and them sending rockets through the Houthis and through Hezbollah and Hamas, at some point, I'm going to deal with the bully. And I think everybody understands that. I mean, I wish they would just go with it at that angle and stop using the nuke as a means of excuse to try to go in. Stop using that. Just use you know what? Before on my website, UnitedAmericaFirst.com, we used to put articles on there all the time. And every now and then we'll put articles on there. But we used to put articles on there all the time. And I noticed when you would put the article and you put the title, if the title was extremely triggering, because I had Google AdSense on there, Google had, they have a lot of liberals there. They would get, if they got triggered by the title, they would penalize that article. And my producer would constantly say, Shannon, because she would put a lot of articles on there, she would constantly say, look, we don't need to add any excitement or triggering to the title of the article because the story is already bad enough. Same thing here. They don't need to add the whole nuclear option because the story is already bad enough. Everybody knows that they've been funding Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, all these other organizations that's trying to destroy Israel. We already know this. The story is already bad enough. Just go with that. I don't get it. I don't get it. But, yep, here we are. So for those of you that are still watching me and those of you still, like Will Johnson, and say, you know what, Will Johnson, thank you for speaking up. If you find it in your heart, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, because I am America first. If we can't expect it. Look, we can't expect to help Israel if we can't help ourselves. And we got a lot of issues here. I've been clear about that. We've got to take care of our home. What does that make us? Oh, we can neglect our home and just go help elsewhere. I'm not that way. And I want to make sure I'm clear about that. My website is Unite America First. It doesn't say Israel first. It says Unite America because this country is not united. It is not. See, united. See, some people, when they look at my website, they for some reason, they put a D in there as United States of America. The country's not united. That means it's already been. We're supposed to be. And that's where a lot of people thinking we're supposed to be, but we're not. That's why it's unite, because we need to unite America first. And then, okay, we can help other nations. I'm all for it. I think most people would agree to that. But our country is so divided right now. We need to address the issues here. We got a lot of issues ourselves. I think everyone would agree. So if you agree with me, any on that, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Sign up for the free newsletter, just like you see it right there. Sign up for the free newsletter. Or if you want to support me, which I really need your support, you right there. There's different options right there. People support me monthly because they like the work that I'm doing. They see that I'm not afraid to speak out, share my mind. And I like the fact that some people support me and they still disagree with me on things. And I expect you to disagree with me on some things. Come on. I would hope you would. So we could have these dialogues. We have conversations. That's what makes it so great. We're better than that, right? We can disagree and agree on things. UniteAmericaFirst.com/donate. Or if you just want to hit me up one time, right below that, there's different options, which you're all accustomed to, or my physical address, as I'm always mentioning, which you see right there, my physical address. And every single blessing that I receive with the letter or just the envelope, I've kept it. I've kept every single envelope and blessing. So I want to thank you all so much for all of your support. It's Friday. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless you all. Just remember, Jesus is king. Jesus is king. And it's not important where he was at. It's important that he came because he loved us all. That's what we should be hanging on to. Not because of people upset of what he was when he was in the flesh. We should hang on to his message. And that's for all of us.